This is my ranking of every Mario Party 8 minigame. Everything is the same, this is solely my opinion and no one else's, and all hail concept. And never forget difficulty and replayability. Also, any game is fair minigame. No, wait. Anyway, let's go. 73. Cut from the team. This one is luck-based. It takes place on a mountain, and the players take turns cutting wires while standing on a spring. If they cut a dead wire, they're safe, but if they cut a live wire, the spring will activate and launch them God knows where, and the last player standing wins. However, there's no way of knowing if a wire is live or dead, which is where the luck comes into play. But guess what makes it the worst?
It's because it's a battle minigame.
Ding ding. The only excuse you could possibly have for not knowing this by now is being dead. If you're both a luck-based and battle minigame at the same time, you're screwed. Like a Goomba under Mario's feet. 72. Youre The Bomb. Each player has their own King Bomb and set of 5 fuses, and they must keep lighting said fuses until they find the one that reaches the other player's King Bomb and blows them up. The first player to do so wins. This minigame is basically Bowser's Big Blast from Mario Party 2 with a fresh coat of paint, or I guess a luck-based version of Defuse or Lose from Mario Party 5. You push a plunger to light a fuse, and pray that doing so blows the other player's King Bomb up before yours blows up. I do kind of like Youre The Bomb's concept, but did I mention I despise luck-based minigames? 71. Crank to rank. Each player has their own flagpole, and by swinging the Wiimote around, must twist the crank as fast as possible to raise the flag up all the way to the top. The first player to do so is the winner. Firstly, this minigame is really short and simplistic. It literally only lasts 4 or 5, 6 seconds max. But the worst part is the motion controls don't always want to cooperate, so it's a case of faulty controls. You know, minigames like these just go to show. Ow! Just go to show how much I truly despise luck-based minigames. 70. Flip the Chimp. Each player has their own Ukiki climbing up a coconut tree, down which coconuts will fall. The players, by swinging the Wii Remote, must move their Ukikis around so the coconuts won't conk them, and the first player whose Ukiki reaches the top of their tree wins. Since you don't have much reaction time when a coconut appears, you must swing the Wii Remote swiftly, and the Wii sometimes doesn't read these swift motion inputs. So, like Crank to Rank, this minigame only sucks because of faulty controls. Although Flip the Chimp does test your reflexes, which I usually love, nothing can excuse faulty controls. 69. Breakneck Building. Each player must first saw a log in half, then beat nails into a wooden table with a hammer, and finally paint a wooden canvas your color. The first to complete all these tasks wins. I'll start with, this one's concept is quite unique and interesting. So why do I have it this low then? 3 words. Faulty motion controls. Well, to be honest, the painting section's not bad, and the hammer and nail one is a bit clunky, but still doable. But the saw one, man, I don't know about y'all, but the motion controls almost never want to cooperate with me on that one. If not for that, I'm certain I'd like this minigame a lot more. 68. Rudder Madness. Each player rides their own lily pad boat thingy across a swamp. You want to steer clear of rocks along the way, and first across the finish line wins. Yeah, this one's a racing game, so why do I have it so low? Well, just watch. There should be one fairly conspicuous flaw. You think it's that it's set in a swamp? No, I actually like that concept. It's the slow pacing. Well, really, the slow as molasses pacing. Because of that, I find this to be one of the worst racing minigames in the entire series. 67. Mario Matrix. There's a bunch of hexagons that'll keep lighting up. When they do, you want to be the first one to press it, since you'll get points that way, and whoever has the most points when time is up wins. I like how this minigame utilizes the Wii's aiming mechanic, but it just feels kind of awkward to have to aim at and press things in certain places, all while rushing to keep up with your opponents. I'm not saying Nintendo did a bad job developing the Wii's aim and motion controls, because they most certainly did a great job. It's just this isn't the right kind of minigame to accommodate said controls. 66. Treacherous Tightrope. Sounds unsettlingly familiar. Each player has their own tightrope, which they must walk across with a balancing pole in tow. If they fall down the canyon below, they're eliminated, and the first player to make it across wins. If they all fall, it's a draw. Honestly, this minigame really isn't bad at all. It's just not particularly fun or engaging. I suppose it does take close attention, but I feel like I tend to prefer faster-paced minigames, so I'm just not crazy about it, no matter how on toe keeping it is. 65. Ion the Prize. The players must bounce ions into their correct beakers. For each one you bounce into the appropriate one, you'll score 1 point, and the one with the most when time expires wins. I will say, this one is a good challenge, but at least for my liking, it's a little too difficult, and I also find it fairly boring. I guess it does make pretty good use of the motion controls, but I don't really know what else to say. Or should I say, Ion know what else to say. Yeah, that was really bad, wasn't it? 64. Speedy Graffiti. Each player will have several stone tablets with different shapes carved into them. Using the Wii's aim controls, you have to paint all the shapes in. You'll get 1 point for each one you do so, and the one with the most points when time is up wins. I like how this minigame tries to utilize the aim controls in a unique way, but I'm sad to say, it kind of botched. It feels weird having to draw precise shapes using this mechanic. So not faulty controls, just awkward ones. And its concept kind of far-fetched, I'd say. 63. Picture Perfect. Each side has their own projection of a Mario item divided into multiple spinning panels. They must stop them all at the right time to match the item shown in the middle. First side to do so gets 1 point, and first to 3 points wins. It is cool how you have to use the Wii's aiming feature for this minigame, even more so than in Speedy Graffiti since it requires less precision, but I find it just okay. It's certainly not bad, but it's nothing worthy of praise either. I guess Picture Perfect is supposed to be an ironic name. 62. Road to Victory. I guess you could call this one a first-person version of Puddle Paddle from Mario Party 3. Each team's riding a rowboat across a pond, and while being careful to avoid cheap sheeps and branches, must row in good sync with their teammate to reach the finish. The team that does so first wins. So this one's a race that takes really good teamwork, and given how much I normally love both of those, you might have thought this one would have made it higher. And don't get me wrong, I do like it, but its pacing is fairly slow, for one, and also, it could just be me, but motion controls in games like this don't really mix all that well. 61. Stampede, or more simply, a more intense solo version of Stamp by me from Mario Party 6. You have a ton of papers, most of which you must, can't really be stamped, I don't think, but I'll go with that anyway, to get points. But there are some with Bowser emblems on them, and if you stamp those, you'll lose points. If you can get 20 points in 20 seconds, you win, but if you can't, you lose. This one's nice and simple, and takes close focus. Its concept sure isn't special, but I don't always need a side of gravy with my minigames. 60. Chump Rope. This one is just what it sounds like, jump rope. The lone player must keep swinging a rope, and the team players, of course, have to keep jumping over it. If the rope hits them, they're out, and if at least one of them can stay in the whole time, they win, but if not, the lone player wins. I guess you could kind of look at this one as a 1v3 version of Handy Hoppers from Mario Party 5, with motion controls instead of buttons, obviously, but said controls are the reason why I just kind of like this one. Like in Flip the Chimp, you can't always count on your Wii to pick up your swift motion inputs, but it does for sure beat Handy Hoppers. 59. In the nick of time. Each player has their own clock, which they have to move the hands of on specified numbers. Each time you do so, you score 1 point, and the first 1 to 3 points wins. This one's like a motion-controlled, free-for-all version of Clock Stoppers from Mario Party 5. Again. But this one's for sure better, because 1, its pacing is faster, and 2, though the motion controls can be a bit iffy, they, for the most part, work well for this kind of minigame. 58. Punch-a-Bunch. Each player's got their own huge Bowser statue, which they have to keep punching until it's destroyed. The first player to do so wins. This one's kind of like a motion-controlled version of Destruction Duet from Mario Party 2. Oh boy. But it's nowhere near as good for a number of reasons, the biggest one being that, again, the motion controls don't always want to cooperate. I will say, the concept is mad epic, but if you have unreliable controls, that doesn't really mean much. 57. Catastrophe. Here you race carts with the motion controls. Yes, I said race. You know what that means, or what it might mean anyway. The first to complete 2 laps wins. I'm no mind reader, but I'd bet everything I own that you're wondering why this one, despite being a race, isn't higher up on my list. Well, let me put it this way. Imagine if, anytime you wanted to play Mario Kart Wii, you could only ever use the Wii wheel and nothing else. If that's how you like to play Mario Kart Wii, this might not bother you, but it would sure as hell bother the crap out of me. So yeah, what more do I have to say? 56. Bob-ombs away. In a way, this one's kind of like La Bamba from Mario Party 7, but with the roles reversed. The team has to keep dropping bombs, and the lone player has to avoid them. If the lone player can survive the entire time, they win, but if they get bombs, the team wins. This one's nowhere near as good as La Bamba, but still, it is pretty fun for the team, really on toe-keeping for the lone player, and quite thrilling no matter what side you're on, so no doubt, I do like it. 55. Eyebrow. This one's basically a motion-controlled version of Eyesore from Mario Party 3. Each player will have 3 Mr. Eyes, at whom they must aim their cursor and keep moving it in circles around them to defeat them. The first one to eliminate all 3 wins. I think this one's a little better than Eyesore because, well, I'm not really sure to be honest. I guess it makes good use of the motion controls, and the concept is original. Look, I just like it. That's all that matters, alright? 54. Star Carnival Bowling. I think the easiest way to describe this one is like a bootleg version of Wii Sports Bowling. You just bowl with motion controls. Sorry, that's it. The controls do feel smooth and responsive, but not quite as much as in Wii Sports Bowling. And this might be kind of a nitpick, but you can't choose your dominant hand, while in Wii Sports you can. Of course, this isn't a problem if you're right-handed, but I am left-handed, so yeah, problem. Honestly, if you have a copy of Wii Sports, or better yet, Wii Sports Resort, there's really no reason to play this one instead. But if you happen to not own Wii Sports, it would sure be a good alternative option. 53. Snipe for the picking. You could think of this one as a motion-controlled version of Hyper Sniper from Mario Party 6. Each player's got a crossbow, and there'll be targets which you want to shoot for points. The player with the most points when time is up wins. Yes, I do prefer this one over Hyper Sniper because the motion controls actually work really well here, and also, it's just a good challenge. And shooting games. How do I feel about those things again? I can't remember. 52. Paint Misbehaven. Each player's got their own paintball cannon thing with which they must shoot Goombas to paint them their team's color. The team with the most Goombas in their color when time is up wins. I feel like a lot of people like this one a lot, but in my opinion, it's a little overrated. But don't hear me wrong, I definitely like it a lot. It's quite fun with the unique concepts, and it's a shooting game. Well, that aspect of it doesn't really contribute a lot to how much I like it, but I just figured I should tell you anyway, because it's so hard to tell just by looking at it, right? 51. Pour to score. You have a bucket of sand, which you must pour on a scale, but you want to do so carefully to fall within the given weight range. If you can do so in the time limit, you win, but if you can't or you overshoot it, you lose. I think this minigame is quite underrated. It has a unique concept, and it makes good use of the motion controls in a really clever way. Oh, why don't more people love this poor minigame? Oh, poor you for having to put up with me and my sense of humor. 50. Fruit Picker. There's a board with 5 fruits on it, and you want to memorize the placements of as many of them as you can, because after a few seconds they'll be covered and spun around, at which point you'll be asked where 1, 2, or 3 of them are. If you get them all right, you win, but if you get even one wrong, you lose. So yeah, this one's a memory testing game, and you know how much I love those, right? It is pretty short, but no big deal. 49. Locomotives. Each player has 3 toy trains moving on tracks. You want to watch them closely, then, when they approach one of your balloons, turn them around. Because if they pop one of your balloons, you'll lose 1 point, and the first to lose all 3 points loses. Sounds easy, right? Well, maybe, until you realize the trains get a little faster each time you turn them around. So it starts off easy, but incrementally gets more difficult, i.e., it's a good challenge. Also, its concept is kind of unique, and best of all, it takes razor-sharp focus. 48. Table Menace. 2 players, each with a paddle, take turns hitting a ball back and forth to one another, and failing to do so gives the other player a point. The first player to a certain amount of points is the winner, as table tennis always goes. Just like Star Carnival Bowling, if you have Wii Sports Resort, you might as well just play that game's table tennis mode instead, since that one has pretty much everything this one has and more. But even despite that, the motion controls actually work really well here, and besides, table tennis is just fun in and of itself. Well, most of the time anyway. 47. Saucer Swarm. Each player's got their own space laser, cool, with which they must shoot little spaceships. Doing so gives you points, and the one with the most when time is up wins. A shooting game that takes place in outer space. I repeat, cool concept. And bonus, it takes good awareness since the ships can come at you from many different angles, and if one reaches you, you'll get stunned. So yeah, this minigame has a lot of really good things about it. 46. Snow Way Out. The lone player's got a snowball catapult, and the team players are running around on a roof, and I'm sure you already know what happens next. The lone player must launch snowballs, which the team players must avoid. If at least one of them can survive the entire time, they win, but if they all get snowballed, the lone player wins. This one's concept is funny and just plain cool. No pun Nintendo. No, wait, what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, snow pun Nintendo. I think that's what I meant. 45. Grab and Gold. Each side has their own arcade game machine with baskets which they must use to catch falling coins, while at the same time avoiding spiny eggs. Huh, did Lakitu make these machines? This is quite a fun and unique 1v3 coin cache. Nothing noteworthy about its concept, but so what? It's really fun, and at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Grab and Gold's a real gold mine. Oh, comedy gold right here, right? 44. Sugar Rush. A cake with certain toppings will be shown, and the teams, each with their own cake, must put toppings in the correct places to match the ones shown at the beginning. The team to do so the fastest scores 1 point, and the first team to 2 points wins. I see this one as a motion-controlled version of Cake Factory from Mario Party 2! I do prefer that one, but this one is really good too. In regards to motion controls, it succeeds where Mario Matrix and Speedy Graffiti fail. By that, I mean they're much more efficient here. 43. Spectre Inspector. You're in a dark mansion with a flashlight, which you have to shine on moving objects. If in doing so you uncover an enemy, you'll get a point, and first to 3 points wins. Now there is some level of luck involved, since you can also uncover ghosts, which, if you do, will stun you for a short time. But even with that, I still love this minigame. It's really fun, suspenseful, and keeps you on edge. And I guess its concept is kind of original, because, you know, Luigi's Mansion. 42. Puzzle Pillars. If you ask me, this one's like Blockstar from Mario Party 6. Done right. What, you thought I was gonna say, with motion controls? Well, yes, but it's so much more than that. You have to clear out blocks by matching them with several of the same color. You'll score points each time you do so, and you want to shoot for a new record. This one beats Blockstar by a long shot, because you now have way more freedom in how you move and rotate blocks. I'm so puzzled why so many people prefer Blockstar over this one. No comment. 41. Balancing Act. This one, to me, is like Bumper Ball Maze from Mario Party 1. Yes, with motion controls, but more importantly, done right. Each player's rolling on a ball along a long track. Along the way, you want to watch out for thwomps, and the first one to reach the end wins. What kind of minigame is this? I think it's something I really love. Could it be a racing game, maybe? I doubt that, but whether it is or not, it does make great use of the motion controls in a very clever and unique way, i.e., lovable concepts. 40, Surf's Way Up. This one is, like a motion-controlled version of Target Tag from Mario Party 7. Each player rides their own jetboard across outer space, and in the process, you want to hit as many targets as you can to amass points. And side note, avoid the Bowser ones unless you want to lose all your points. The one with the most points at the end wins. I prefer Target Tag over this one because though the motion controls do work well here, I think button controls are more efficient for minigames like this. But even so, it's a lot of fun, so I love it. 39, Flagging Rights. This one is, like a motion-controlled version of Shy Guy Says from Mario Party 1, matey! You have two flags, and the nearby Shy Guy will hold up one or both of his own flags, and you have to hold up the flag or flags that match the color of Shy Guy's. If you fail to do so, well, you'll be walking the plank! You want to try and shoot for a new record. Just like with Surf's Way Up, though the motion controls do work well here, I think button controls are more efficient for minigames like this, so I undoubtedly prefer Shy Guy Says. But even so, I do still love this one, and bonus, it utilizes the nunchuck. 38, Attention Grabber. And here we have our first masher. Well, Mario Party 8's version of a masher, both players are stranded on a deserted island and must flag down a ship to come rescue them. The one to attract their ship faster wins. So earlier, I said this was like Mario Party 8's version of a masher. What do you think I mean by that? Not sure? Well, let me ask you this. When you hear Mario Party 8, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For me, that would be motion controls. And mix that with the word masher, and yeah, I think you get it. So it's mad fun and super immersive. 37.
I shake it off, I shake it off.
Well, actually, it's called Shake It Up, but close enough. This one's another Mario Party 8 version of a masher. Oh, we gotta figure out a name for these things. I guess we can just call them shakers. Each player's got their own can of soda, which, well, I think it's really obvious, so I'm not gonna waste my breath or your time. The one with the tallest, soda geyser at the end wins. Just like Attention Grabber, this one is very fun and engaging, and bonus, it has a better concept. 36, Cardiators. Yes, I know you must be confused. I'll explain later. The players take turns choosing face-down cards, each with a different enemy. The one you get will attack your opponent and drain their stamina, with each having a different level of severity. The one to lose all their stamina first loses. So as you likely noticed, this one is luck-based. So how the hell could it possibly have made it this high on my list? Well, in short, its concept. Frankly, I absolutely adore it. It's epic, clever, unique, in fact, I'd say one of a kind. Just overall brilliant. A gladiator battle using Mario enemies. Literally, just for that one reason, I think this has to be my favorite luck-based minigame in all of Mario Party. 35, At the Chomp Wash. And here we have another shaker. Each player has their own chain chomp covered in paint, and by repeatedly shaking the Wii Remote, because, you know, that's always what a shaker has you do, must wipe all the paint off. The first player to wipe off all the paint wins. This one is nice and simple and just plain fun with a pretty cute concept, and it makes great use of the Wii's motion controls. Sasuga Shaker, it is quite short, but what do you expect? Mashers almost never have much to them, so therefore, by extension, neither do shakers. What, you're getting sick of hearing the word shaker? Well, you'd better get used to it, because this is Mario Party 8, baby! 34, Bumper Balloons. This one can be seen as, like, a mix of bumper balloon cars and magnet Carda from Mario Party 2. Yes, with motion controls. Each player rides a go-kart, and there'll be 4 balloons for each team. The first team to pop all their balloons wins. I definitely prefer this one over bumper balloon cars and magnet Carda because the controls feel much less awkward. And yes, that is to say it makes good use of the motion controls. Though one small nitpick, I think they could have gave it a better name. 33, Lava Lobers. Each player has their own minecart with a cannon with which they must, well, I'm sure you can guess. If you get shot 3 times, you lose. And yes, I said shot. And I ain't talking like shot, 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 shots. I'm talking shooting games. Shoot, 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 shooting games. Yep, I loves me some of those. And I also love epic concepts, and this minigame definitely has one. 32, Blazing Lassos. Y'all gotta wrangle up some barrels. Yes, with motion controls. Doing so scores y'all points, and the one with the most when time is up wins. This one's concept is interesting, if somewhat unoriginal, but honestly, it's just hella fun, and like I've said before, that's all that really matters. But there is more. The motion controls work really well, and this minigame utilizes them in a really clever, unique, innovative way. I reckon I love this one. 31, Alpine Assault. I see this one as Snow Ride from Mario Party 7, done right, and with motion controls! You're snowboarding and must turn carefully to jump off ramps and dodge snowmen. First one to cross the finish line wins. So, what do we have here? Racing game, good use of motion controls, fun, thrilling, on toe keeping. I wonder what that all adds up to. I'm no math expert, but I think the solution is epic minigame. 30, Wing and a Scare. Each player flies their own plane, which they must carefully maneuver through openings in a series of walls, while simultaneously dodging pillars and floating islands. The first one to reach the finish line wins. Conceptually, this one's really unique, and it makes clever, comfortable use of the motion controls. Yes, I know it's slow-paced, but that's okay. Like I've said before, some minigames benefit from having slow pacing, and this one's a paragon of that. And to top all that off, it's also a considerably decent challenge. 29. Trial by Tile, another puzzle minigame. There's a board full of tiles with different characters' faces on them. Your job is to find the sequence on the board that matches the one shown on the left. You'll score 1 point each time you do so, and you want to try to get 15 points fast enough to get a new record. Though I do like puzzle pillars, I consider this one to be Mario Party 8's definitive puzzle game, because in my opinion, it's both more fun and a better challenge, and not to mention, it's more unique. I think Puzzle Pillars is a little too similar to Block Star from Mario Party 6. 28. Settle it in court. Both players are basically just playing basketball. They must sink the ball through the hoop as many times as possible by shaking the Wii Remote with good timing. The player to have made the most baskets in the time limit wins. Although quite lacking in concept, this one is just plain fun and requires good timing, which is yet another thing you should know how much I love in video games. I also love how Goombas can alley-oop for you. Who says you need hands to be able to play sports? 27. Aim of the game. Several cards with different numbers will fall down, and the players, using pop guns, must shoot 5 cards, in hopes of each card's value adding up to the highest possible cumulative number. The player with the highest total at the end wins. This one requires strategy and close attention, since there are some cards that could decrease your total, and I've always loved shooting games. Go figure! And also, its concept is quite unique and interesting, and it also makes really efficient, comfortable use of the motion controls. 26. Mosh Pit Playroom. This one takes place in a ball pit. Well, quasi-ball pit. The balls are all bouncing, and you have to run and jump around to get all 50 of your color. The player who does so first wins. I'll be honest, this one's concept is pretty lame. I mean, come on, running around in a kiddie ball pit? Kinda juvenile, but even so, it's insanely fun and frantic. And that's all that matters, because again, good concepts are just a cool bonus. And I don't need no gravy, and no one needs pink eye. Ugh. 25. Chomping Frenzy. The player must keep feeding several Chain Chomp specified fruits and bones to score points, shooting for a new record. If even one Chain Chomp goes too long without the fruit, or possibly bone it wants, it'll throw a tantrum, i.e. the minigame will be over. This one is fun and requires close attention, and even becomes challenging as it progresses. And the concept is not only funny, but also original. And you know me, I respect the crap out of that. I might like it more if it were a free-for-all instead of a solo, but even the way it is, I love it. 24. Gun the Runner. I see this one is kind of like Lift Leapers from Mario Party 6 with motion controls. No, wait, I mean vertical with an added twist. The team players each have pop guns, which they must keep shooting at the lone player to stall them from reaching the finish line up top. If the lone player can get there before time expires, they win, but if not, the team wins. This one is really fun for both sides, and it's a shooting game, but you want to hear something crazy? Despite that, I think I actually prefer to be the lone player. Shocker, huh? But no matter which side I'm on, I'm always happy to play this one. 23. Lava or Leave 'em. This one is basically all fired up from Mario Party 3 with a fresh coat of paint. And maybe sort of combined with treadmill grill. You're on a stone platform over lava with a huge lava bubble which will slowly divide over time. Any player to get hit by one or fall in the lava loses, and the last player standing wins. This one is fun, thrilling, on toe keeping, nerve-wracking, and even somewhat challenging, with a both epic and original concept. Just like All Fired Up. I'm not quite sure which one I overall prefer, but does it really matter? 22. Swing Kings, or more simply, Dinger Derby from Mario Party 5 with motion- wait, I do mean motion controls this time. Each player's got a Shy Guy pitching them baseballs. I think you have to try to hit them as many as you can with a baseball bat, and the player to hit the most out of 20 wins? Well, I'm not really sure how else it could work. Obviously no special concept here, but it's really fun. Though I slightly prefer Dinger Derby, this one does make good, smooth, working use of the motion controls. 21. Water Ski Spree. Here you water ski. Pardon me, I have to go accept my Adore award now. And there'll be a bunch of ramps, some of which have coins on them. And to find those, you have to look well ahead, and also watch out for spiny eggs thrown by Shy Guy. Is Lakitu on leave of absence or something? This is a really fun coin cache that takes close focus. And on top of that, it makes excellent, smooth use of the motion controls in a really epic, unique way. That's not to say its concept is unique, because again, it's just water skiing. So what? This minigame is totally tubular. 20. Booting Gallery. You're in a mansion with a bunch of pink boos. Using pop guns, you have to keep shooting them until they're all defeated. The first team to eradicate them all wins. So yeah, shooting game, good use of motion controls, epic concept, and kind of original too because of Luigi's Mansion. Again, and really fun, close focus, on toe keeping, and why am I talking like this? This is an all-around awesome minigame. Just a thought though, Boo's a misanthrope confirmed? Well, whatever the ghost version of one is. 19. Moped Mayhem. This one can be explained in brevity a few ways. Catastrophe done right, Mario Kart but with 30 racers, and, well, that's about it. You're riding your own moped, racing on a long circuit track. If you can complete 3 laps first, you win. So, kind of like Star Carnival Bowling and Table Menace, if you have Mario Kart Wii, there's really no reason to play this minigame over that. But even so, it is really fun, a decent challenge, and the motion controls do work really well. And it's a racing game, so IYKYK. 18. Lob to Rob, or in my opinion, a better version of Snipe for the picking. Cardboard signs will keep popping up, some of which have mushrooms on them. You have to aim and throw balls at them to get points, and the one with the most points when time is up wins. Shooting game, just clearing that up. And also, it takes good focus since some signs have Goombas on them, which unless you want to lose points, you'd better not hit. And to be honest, I think Snipe for the picking is a bit too good of a challenge. But this one is certainly not. It's not too easy or too hard. I think it's just right. 17. Winner or dinner. You're in a small arena with 4 pipes and a magic urn. The urn will keep spurting out coins, which, of course, you want to collect. But it's not quite that simple. The urn will also spurt out spiny eggs. Oh, is that where Lakitu went? And on top of that, piranha plants will keep popping up out of the pipes. And unless you want to be MIA for a few seconds, you're gonna want to avoid all those. This coin cache is mad fun and pretty frantic, and it really keeps you on your toes. Everybody likes a winner or dinner. 16. Lean, Mean Ravine. Each team rides their own hovercraft across a ravine, and steering clear of geysers and jumping off ramps, you want to reach the finish line first, because if you do, victory is yours. Is this one a race? I think it might be a race, don't you agree? And I'm pretty sure I love racing games, but I can't be certain, so what else could it be? Could it be how fun it is because of the ramps, or how on toe keeping it is because of the geysers? I mean, what else could it possibly be? I have no idea whatsoever. Do you know what it could be? Come on, help me out here. I want to know. I want to figure it out. I don't have... This minigame takes my breath away. 15. Pumper cars. Each player has their own hands cart with... Actually, you tell me, what kind of vibe do you get from this minigame? Maybe a Hands Car Havoc from Mario Party 1 kind of vibe? And so, how would you describe it? Perhaps a motion-controlled version of said minigame? Yeah, that's accurate, and not just at face value. Hands Car Havoc is a masher, and guess what this one is? Yep, a shaker. So this fun, racing minigame makes good use of the motion controls. Concept? Okay, I guess, but nothing special. But with all the good things about it, I care not. 14. Power Trip. The lone player's riding an electric hovercraft with which they must try to hit all 3 team players. If they can do so in the time limit, they win, but if at least 1 team player can survive the entire time, the team wins. Yeah, so let me think for a second. Super fun for the lone player, super on toe keeping for the team, and super thrilling for everyone. That's what I'm thinking, and the concept is hella epic. 13. Crops and Robbers. This one can kind of be seen as like Bumper Crop from Mario Party 7 combined with Whack-A-Mole. On each team, one player must pull carrots out of the ground, while the other, with a hammer, must bonk Monty Moles once they pop out of their holes. The team to clear their field first wins. Nothing noteworthy about this one's concept, but even so, it's really fun, and it takes good teamwork, communication, and synchronization. And the cherry on top, it's just nice and simple. And bonus, I can happily have either role. 12. Scooter Pursuit. I'm gonna say something, and after I do, I want you to try and guess the next thing I'm gonna say. Here goes, Cannonball Fun from Mario Party 6. Am I thinking that this minigame is kind of like a motion-controlled version of that one? And maybe that it is also it done right? Where the hell did you get a crazy idea like that from? Wait, you also think I think it's really fun and has an epic concept for a shooting minigame? Who in their right minds would think any of that could be true? Oh, what an interesting, fascinating, sarcastic world we live in. 11. Frozen assets. You're in an icy arena into which huge icicles will keep falling down. When this happens, you want to break them open, and if a diamond flies out, try to get it. The first one to get 5 wins. This one's kind of like an alternate version of Frozen Frenzy from Mario Party 5. No, not with motion controls. So I love this one for pretty much all the same reasons. But wait, I forget what those reasons are. You say because it's a fighting game? What, did your brain fall down a sewer or something? Someone's been binge-eating those crazy cakes. But in all seriousness, though I do kind of prefer Frozen Frenzy, this one's awesome too. 10. Thrash and Crash. The team players are skateboarding, and the lone player, riding a hovercraft, must activate traps in hopes of hitting all 3 team players. If they can do so before time expires, they win, but if at least 1 team player can survive the entire time, the team wins. This one's a 1v3, so, fun for the lone player, on toe keeping for the team, and thrilling for everyone. I'm pretty sure that's how 1v3s typically go, and the concept is both funny and unique, and it makes great use of the motion controls, both for the lone player and the team. 9. Cosmic Slalom. The players, each with their own hovercraft, are racing across a long tube full of electric fences. The first player to reach the finish line wins. Motor Rooter from Mario Party 3, just process that for a second. I think you can predict what I'm gonna say next. This is a motion-controlled version of that one done right. Turning and maneuvering feels much better. And yes, the motion controls work well. It's also really cool how you can use speed boosts. Overall, it's just a really fun, thrilling, on-toe-keeping race with an awesome concept. 8. Grabby Gridiron. You're on a football field, and tons of footballs will keep being launched onto it, hence the name Grabby Gridiron. You want to grab and throw them into your goal. You'll get a point each time you do so, and the first team to 5 points wins. Oh boy, this one is mad fun and frantic. And guess what? You can punch to try to make opponents drop footballs. And what does that mean? Them's fighting words. Yep, it's a fighting minigame, and a very epically conceived one, might I add. And one small tidbit, this is probably the closest we'll ever get to a Mario football game, American football, so I have to give it props for that, too. 7. Glacial Meltdown. Here, the players fight on a flat iceberg. Yes, fight, so there's one reason why I love this one already. You're welcome, but there's more. A Lakitu will keep dropping buzzy beetles. Man, are you having some sort of existential crisis or something? Which you either want to avoid or jump on and kick at your opponents. If you fall into the water, you lose, and last one standing wins. This fighting game is mad fun, challenging, on toe-keeping, and unique, because not only do you have to put up with ice physics, but also the iceberg can tilt around, which means you can slip. That is all just so cool. 6. Swervin' Skies. Each player flies their own fighter plane, and the lone player must shoot cannons at the team players trying to pop all their balloons. If they can do so before time's up, they win, but if not, the team wins. This one's insanely fun, and yes, it is a shooting game, but even so, I don't think I care which side I'm on, and the concept is very epic. And obligatory motion control review. In this minigame, they work really well, and are used in a very clever way. Man, when it comes to Mario Party, the sky's the limit. 5. Superstar Showdown, aka the final boss battle. Here, you fight Bowser in his clown car. Using the Star Rod, you have to fire energy blasts at him to drain his health, while at the same time avoiding his fireballs, bullet bills, and lasers. Unless you know, wanna lose health. Hit Bowser 10 times and you win, but lose all your health before that and you lose. This is an epic final boss battle, super fun and a good challenge. Well, the more you progress anyway, and also, it makes excellent use of, well, you tell me. By now, it should be pretty obvious. You think it's the motion controls? You fail. But no matter what, amazing final boss battle. 4. Rotation Station. You know, until making this video, I never realized Mario Party 8 has a crap ton of duels, and this one's for sure my favorite. The way I see it is like a 3D version of Lift Leapers from Mario Party 6. Again? You have to make your way up a course of blocks, some of which move, and the first one to reach the top wins. Sounds pretty fun, huh? But wait, there's more. With the motion controls, you have to keep rotating the camera to adjust your perspective. With that one mechanic alone, this minigame is really unique. And yes, it makes clever use of the motion controls in a one-of-a-kind way, and overall, it's an extremely fun race. Yes, race, enough said. 3. Canyon Cruisers. The players riding a hovercraft across a long canyon and must avoid crashing into rocks or walls to reach the finish line as fast as possible. Yes, you want to shoot for a new record. This one's an incredibly fun, fast-paced race. It's also a decent challenge because there are quite a few turns and rocks you could crash into, and since, again, you're moving so fast, avoiding them isn't exactly easy. And also, it's another racing game that makes great use of the motion controls. Also, you might be thinking I'd like it more if it were a free-for-all instead of a solo, but actually no. I feel like races like this are better when you're by yourself. Who would have thought, right? 2. Sick and Twisted. There's a long course of spinning platforms which you have to jump your way across. If you fall down or get hit by a bullet bill, you lose, but if you can make it to the end, you win. Does that surprise you? You thought you'd have to make it first to win, and that would be the reason why I love it, because it would be a race that way, and I love racing games, and that should be super obvious, and I should stop asking so many questions, because it's making you sick and twisted. But anyway, yeah, it's not a race. And to be honest, I'm kind of happy about that, because if it were a race, that would make it harder for you to watch your steps. And plus, it's very fun on toe-keeping, and a kind of good challenge. Sick and Twisted is sick. 1. King of the Thrill. This one has teams fighting. Yes, I said fighting. It's kind of like Fish Upon a Star from Mario Party 5 minus the Cheep Cheeps. Players fight on small, flat mountains and must try to knock each other off. If you do fall off, you lose, but if you win, you can advance to the big mountain. And up there, you want to repeat the process to win the minigame. Unless you and your teammate both make it, then you just win right there. But it gets even better. As time passes, the mountains start crumbling away piece by piece, leaving you with a smaller playing field. A team-based fight under conditions like these? Oh god, I love it! What an epic badass concept, and how insanely fun, on toe-keeping, and thrilling. Hence the name King of the Thrill. I think I prefer Fish Upon a Star by a very small, tiny, puny, microscopic iota of a margin. But it's still mad awesome, and so King of the Thrill is easily my #1 favorite Mario Party 8 minigame. Long live the king! So there you have it, my ranking of every Mario Party 8 minigame. For more videos like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, please check out my social media. All links are in the description. And octuple, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Mikoro out.